Okay, hello everyone. So I'm Jean-Charles Pillet, and I'm a PhD student representative for the OCIS division. And today I have the honor to interview Sirkka who happened to be the keynote speaker for this AOM 2018 division. And I leave it to you, Sirkka, to introduce briefly yourself, and then we'll briefly go to the questions.
All right, hello. I'm Sirkka Jarvenpaa. I'm a professor at University of Texas at Austin in the McCombs School of Business. My area is information systems, although I cross into the organization sciences as well.
Okay, thank you. So let's kickstart the questions. We'd like to know a bit more about your core area of research and your competencies or methods that you use. Can you give us a brief overview on that?
So I study a variety of different contexts, but if there's kind of a core theme to my projects, it is inter-organizational knowledge collaboration. When different parties that haven't previously collaborated are coming together, usually they are coming from different domains with different language systems. And again, expectation, at least some of the collaboration will happen over, with some online tools, kind of virtual teams, virtual organization type of arrangements.
That's where the IT kicks in, I guess. What is the paper that you're the most proud of?
All right. Yeah, I was thinking about that a little bit. Perhaps a paper that I published very recently in 2016, Academy of Management Review. It's a theory piece. It's about actually sharing and protection, like in competitive technology collaborations. We would have researchers from Google and Microsoft coming together, and of course they would be very concerned of protecting some of the proprietary information, but still having to share enough to move the project forward. And so it's strictly a theory piece. I'm proud of it because I was trained as an empirical researcher, and kind of my lifelong kind of goal has been to become a decent theory builder. And so I guess that provided some legitimacy that I'm progressing on that journey.
Okay, nice. So on this long and interesting career, you've probably encountered certain situations that were a bit off, a bit funny, a bit unexpected. Is there anything you would like to share with us, a funny story?
All right. Well, this is probably far from funny, but again, I do field research, spent a lot of time in countries like Romania, different parts of India, Brazil. Again, Brazil is not the safest place in the world, and Colombia. And I was doing a project in Mexico when there was a major uprising. And so for 2 days, I was collecting data with 2 security cards. And they were very heavily loaded with machine guns. And so I thought, well, perhaps, and also I was pregnant at the time.
Okay,
okay.
Sure,
But perhaps I should lower the risk level, at least until my daughter gets born.
Yeah, okay, good. So good to know that research is also sometimes a bit exciting and physically dangerous going in the field. And I guess you're also a trained ethnographer, or you did publishing ethnography pieces, and I guess that's the kind of thing you do. You go into the field and you take some risks sometimes, and that's part of it.
So I'm not trained as an ethnographer. I'm actually trained as an experimental researcher.
Okay.
So my dissertation was an experiment, but I kind of view myself as a method agnostic, that I do not limit my research projects by methods. Again, anthropology publications are all with an anthropology colleague. So I collaborate a lot with people who bring that method knowledge when I'm lacking it. And hopefully I'm learning, in the process.
Methodology agnostic, it's interesting. One last question to close the gap. A bit of a prospective one. We wanted to ask you where you felt that the field was going, in which area, in which direction, what kind of topic, and how you were planning to address them potentially.
Mm-hmm. Well, perhaps I kind of go backwards before going forward. So, my PhD is in information systems, actually management information systems. And my early studies were very focused on general systems theory. So I think of the discipline to do with information and data, not with technology. Technology is something that seemed to come along in 1990s. We started talking about IT artifact and so forth. And now, for example, there is this datafication or big data boom, but we seem to be caught up in statistics, kind of in deep learning technologies. So in some sense, I feel like we are perhaps broadening or going to be shifting away from just kind of looking at kind of technology. And perhaps going back to our roots of complex systems, data, information, because after all, the technology part itself is no longer necessarily the most exciting thing. I see the field as really connecting. We are always connecting things. So even in organizations, if you think of information systems, they are not technology, they are about data flows. They are different practices around those data flows. So less emphasis on this T, I would say, And in terms of how PhD students should, think about getting in, perhaps rather, generic. There are always these fads. Now it's robotics.
AI.
Exactly. AI. Mine is, you really need to think of what you are really, deeply interested in. What is your passion? Look to your past. What is it that you were really, really troubled for a long time? Perhaps when you were in industry or in a previous study program, and go with that. Don't settle, with the research question that perhaps your advisor is eager to give you. Find your own path, because that's, I believe, you need to really kind of maintain that tenacity and persistence, because you can't build a reputation on a single paper. It takes, multiple papers and journeys, and particularly early on.
Okay, so thanks for these pieces of advice, and thanks for this interview, Sirkka. Thank you very much.